Well,
Can we again say we're talking about Shakespeare in Love, and again the theme is movies that won Best Picture Oscars that piss people off.
That's a great start, John.
Proceed.
Let you animals go last.
Shakespeare in Love
Sucks.
We started to touch on it. Started in the middle.
No, it's delightful.
Hold on.
Jared's quarter. Take it.
Well, I don't have a quarter, but I just think that it's as a fun. This whole episode is really fun. We started to touch on it in the middle of the last segment, but I think that this is the kind of thing where the best picture had some contenders, but I looked up this year, and let me tell you something. This was a weak fucking year. It just was. Dude.
What else is nominated?
It beat Saving Private Ryan, and that's what made people mad, right?
It beat Elizabeth. Fuck you!
It beat the Thin Red Line.
Thin Red Line. And nobody can agree. What's the
anything but this?
What's the atrocity that was committed here?
The Thin Red Line is
anything but this.
But here's the thing. But look at the acting. Like I implore you, if you haven't, go back and look at the actors in this year, and it was all fucking garbage. And I believe that's why the whole Judi Dench fiasco, because I agree with Tad and everyone else. She's in this movie for 2 fucking seconds.
She's in 2 scenes.
And isn't very good in it.
No,
she's fine. It's just that
she's very
self-reflective. Nothing. There just was no good performances this year, be it men or women. It was just a weird fucking year. I'm telling you.
Kathy Bates in Primary
Colors
is so much better than this. She steals
but
that
also,
movie.
She was up this year with that year.
Was Elias Koteas nominated for Thin Red Line?
No.
What? That was outrage.
But also, I was trying to describe this comparison between this and Elizabeth to my friend earlier, and you know what I came up with? A brilliant fucking sort of, I think, an analogy, which is like Shakespeare in Love is like Rococo, and fucking Elizabeth is like Romanticism, like in terms of painting styles.
I know what you're talking about.
Like you would take one seriously and the other one was like, I don't know if I'm an art history major. So like Rococo was like something that everyone was like, fuck, that's puffy bullshit. Like we don't give a fuck about that.
But emotionally,
even though it's like good technically, but they're like
emotionally stirring though.
Yeah, they're like whatever. But then there was like real fucking paintings over here.
You're talking about
this one best set decoration over Elizabeth, which again, it's
Elizabeth,
just like, are you out of your fucking mind?
That's my point. Is that Elizabeth is a film, and this is sort of a a puff piece.
You know, this is a guy getting donked in the head with the skull from Hamlet.
Okay,
it's a rom-com.
No, it's not a good rom-com.
But I agree with
it's a good rom-com.
Let's open it up. But I do agree. I do agree with Chris though. I haven't seen this since it came out, and it got me again. I like it.
I think
once he chases her through the streets, she's dressed as a man because she auditioned and then she chickened out and ran out of the theater. He chases her. Joseph Fiennes chases Gwyneth Paltrow through the streets, gets in the boat, and goes down the Thames to fight.
But I think this is really funny.
Cool.
You're in.
Gwyneth won
in a 2-hour movie that sucks.
I think the word chick flick is used often, but we need to talk about
the worst performance in this movie is Gwyneth Paltrow, and she's the one that won the fucking Oscar. I'm telling you,
she's terrible.
I agree with that.
The plot of this,
they should have recast her.
Lovely.
Okay, I want to give you. I'm going to take
your accent's pretty good too.
I want to take you on a mental journey here. The plot of this film is, imagine a really emotionally out there 13-year-old girl going with her parents to Ashland to see Romeo and Juliet at the at the Globe Theater in Ashland, right?
Sure.
And this is what she imagined
about John's niece.
She saw it. Her brain exploded because it's like
no, actually that was me at 9 years old.
Then she wrote this on the way back to the Bay Area, like, oh my god, can I be in a movie?
Yeah, except it was Tom fucking
Tom Stoppard wrote this. By the way,
I don't know what Tom Stoppard is able to handle.
No, I think this writing is really good.
Able to do
it's really good.
I do.
And when you find out that Harvey Weinstein was like cut all the gay shit out of this, you're like, oh yeah, okay,
that's too bad.
Sense.
Well, that might be too bad, but I do think that
this was supposed to be about William Shakespeare being separated from Anne Hathaway and falling in love with a male actor, not a woman.
Is that the original?
Well, I want to see that movie too.
I do too.
Yes,
but I don't think there's much wrong with this movie. And what I mean is that like you have like there's enough. No, listen. And I've done Shakespeare only once, but it was such a impressionable, like this has enough of Shakespeare's real sort of the way he writes and what he does, and then this sort of take on it.
This is Kroger.
This modern
This is Kroger select Shakespeare.
No,
Like,
but I
just-
thought like, hey, like this screenplay, I agree with Tad in the sense of like this is fluff, but fuck, it's good fluff.
Literally
It's
fluff.
really
Look at
good
all
fluff.
the fluff.
Yeah.
Falling out of the sky.
And
They have a fluff war.
I don't have any problem with doing a pastiche of Shakespeare. You know, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead.
That's a good movie.
That's a great movie. And this was
No, it's a fantastic.
it is,
movie.
but this is also a pastiche of Shakespeare, and they take it apart, take the different pieces in, have fun with it.
And it's
No,
a good
they
comment
don't.
on.
There's
They do. And I mean, it's a love letter to Romeo and
Guys,
It
Juliet.
is.
Guys,
I
no,
love the
there's
fact that
nothing-
Also a love
Yeah,
letter to. It's also a love letter to the theater, which I really appreciated.
Okay, there you
There's
go.
nothing
No,
about this
Rosencrantz,
movie.
don't
There's
you?
nothing about this
Fucking
movie.
Tom Stoppard.
There's nothing about this movie that in any way makes your appreciation of Shakespeare any better, and it doesn't parody it well
Interesting.
enough to be fun.
Oh, I disagree.
I disagree.
completely.
Okay,
I think
here we go.
I think it's so great the way. I mean, I forgot because it's been years. I forgot how much it really relies on the actual text of Romeo and Juliet.
Yes.
Because a lot of the times they're.
But it does it in a shitty way.
No, it doesn't,
No.
because what's happening in the story
I
is
think
absolutely a mirror of what's happening in the story of Romeo and Juliet.
Also, what I realized, what I realized watching this
It's not
picture
like a
again.
retcon. It's like
But he
a Star
didn't
Trek
come
episode.
up with
we
that
put-
story.
No, of
but
course not. I'm not saying
we
like-
put
Wow.
Shakespeare.
Years.
We put Shakespeare on too high of a pedestal, and to be honest, he always wrote plays for the common people.
Right.
And Shakespeare is not above dick and fart jokes. He has tons of them all throughout his work.
Right.
And he
And
wasn't
so-
about
doesn't
stealing
do a
his
good
plots.
job
So there's
of
nothing
that.
wrong with this picture being, sort of mediocre in terms of its or not mediocre, but base level sometimes.
And
No,
I
but
think
it's
and
not-
I think it's
but
hard
not
to.
good at that.
I think it's
It's
because it's
not-
so enjoyable. It's hard to.
Well,
I think it's enjoyable.
that's like
So
your-
going on the premise that it's enjoyable, which Tad would disagree with, the writing's really
I
good
can't believe
in
I
the
sat
fact
through this when I was 15.
that there's a lot of characters, there's a lot of plot, and it all goes down like ice cream. You guys, I mean, it's like there's
It
no,
does.
Listen,
But
I know what Tad. I know what you're saying. I thought like, oh fuck this movie, but upon again, I
I
agree
don't
with
think
you.
it's easy to make a movie that enjoyable.
no, hold
Watching
on,
it
hold on.
again, I
I
was
don't
like,
find any
it
of it
got
enjoyable.
me. I loved it.
The scene where he's on the boat with her and she's still dressed as a man and they're having that conversation. What are her eyes like? What? How do you feel about her? And she's quizzing him about this stuff. She kisses him. He thinks he's being kissed by what was the character's name?
I don't know though.
yeah,
I don't know.
the
I think
boy
he knew
actor.
at that
Something
time.
of-
He
And then
knew.
the guy that brings the boat up to shore. He's like, oh yeah, that's her.
And he
I've
says,
known her
"Good
since
night,
she was a
milady."
kid.
It's
And
like-
that
Wait,
there it is behind Scott.
Chris wants to say something.
That wouldn't fool a
I've been
child.
trying all night. I'm giving up.
No, the only good part of that scene is when he's like, "You're a writer," and he's like, "I wrote a thing," and he's just running away.
That's why I was bringing up that
Welcome to
scene,
Chris
Tad.
Corner.
That's funny
That's
because every character, no matter how small, has to want something, and this guy wants to show Shakespeare his play that he wrote, and Shakespeare's just like,
Yeah, it's like if Get Shorty was bad.
Get Shorty is not.
or
bad. Okay,
Get
Chris.
Shorty was still good, and it was Shakespeare.
Chris.
All right.
Go, Chris.
Fucking
Go, Chris,
animals.
get him.
All right.
We're out of breath.
I will. Yeah, I will
I'm
tell
not.
you. I wish I could fucking hate this movie. I was.
Me too.
I was so.
Me too.
It's
prepared
very
Same.
to
easy.
hate this fucking movie because honestly, and I did watch Thin Red Line immediately after finishing this one, and that movie does not know what it is about. It doesn't matter. It is fucking beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
There, it's great. But so I'm watching this and I'm like, okay, I remember kind of liking it the first time. I've seen a lot of Stoppard plays, and Stoppard also wrote and directed Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. That guy has a particular affinity for bringing Shakespeare into 20th century, I think.
He also was brought in to doctor the script. He didn't write the whole thing.
Well, whatever.
just
I-
saying.
there is a bounciness to this movie. We haven't even talked about the supporting cast. Jeffrey Rush.
Everyone is in this movie.
everyone is
Jeffrey
in-
Rush won the Oscar, I think.
Like,
no, the
um,
cast is above reproach. Even I didn't like that much,
cast
but
is-
I love
and
the
sorry,
cast.
we are all dunking
The
on
only
Judi
one in who's actually in focus in this.
Judi Dench is actually in this movie more than Beatrice Straight was in Network.
5 minutes, 3 seconds versus 5 minutes, 38
Beatrice Straight
seconds.
is in one fucking scene in Network,
Yeah,
and she won
Okay.
Best Supporting Actress.
I know.
All right,
I read
all
the
right.
same thing you did.
But
All
Beatrice
Dench
Straight's
fucking
scene is
slam
better.
dunks every goddamn scene that she is in.
I actually think Judi Dench is very good in this. I just was weirded out by how small the part was.
and it sticks the landing.
It does.
fucking sticks the landing. Now here's the thing.
There's something
not-
about
It
it
makes
that
a
is
sad ending a triumph.
Dude,
not for the
well,
fact. Not for the fact that everybody hates the fact that it won Best Picture, because honestly, I think the Weinsteins just lobbied the shit out of everybody.
They did.
Oh, of course.
That's why it won.
Of course.
They held their weird. They
we
held
would
their
not
weird
still
And
Still
sexual
also,
predilections over people.
let's not be fucking. Let's not be kind about this. He's also the reason that she won Best Actress.
Sure,
He
right.
is.
But here's the thing: if not for the fact that it won all those Oscars, we would not be talking about this movie 25 years later.
Good.
Other than to say, "Oh, that was good. That's actually a pretty smart little rom-com."
Yes, exactly.
This
Nope,
is
that's
a
what it
very
is.
smart little rom-com that somehow ended up winning a fuck ton of Oscars, and that's why we all want. And that's why I wanted to dunk on this fucking movie.
Right.
Me too.
Objectively, I just can't because it fucking worked on me again.
I don't give a flying
So
fuck
the
about
other-
the
I agree.
Oscars,
I
and I'm
agree
gonna
with
dunk
Chris
this movie
100%.
because it sucks.
I'm in the same boat.
No, it didn't work then. It didn't work now. I
Oh.
thought it was
Nope,
trite.
disagree.
Scott doesn't like it.
I thought it was just a bunch of like setups and payoffs that were screenwriter obvious. Judy Dench as
yeah.
Queen Elizabeth, she's the Deus Ex Machina queen. It's like, oh, I have a bet about romance in plays, and it can be done. It's like, okay, look at your watch. When's this payoff? And then she shows up, literally uncapes herself during the performance. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
come on, that's not even that's not even a 1/10 subtle. That's
I love it.
Colin Firth thinks he's in a good movie in this, and that's so sad.
It's
Like,
fun to see him play a sort of a mustache twirling villain in this.
Yeah,
it was
he's
kind of
great.
unusual, yeah.
He's great.
But no,
Except for
the
the
best-
Kingsman,
the best line in this movie,
Kingsman
the-
movies,
The best
he
line in this movie.
never doesn't show up for something.
Right.
No, the best line in this movie. You may show your pleasure.
This movie,
Or show you- He's like,
I like
remember when he basically tells her, "You're going to marry me. You may express your pleasure."
You know, I'm going
Like-
to take it back. He is not a mustache twirling villain. He's a dolt. He's kind of
He's played
so
those
good.
before. I can't think of what, but exactly.
this
He's done it
movie
before.
should be put in the same box
And
as
he kills Christopher
When
Marlowe.
Harry Met Sally
Yes.
and The Cutting Edge.
no, he didn't. It was a bar fight over Bill.
Well, it's Chris.
What-
It's
what,
somewhere
Chris?
between.
Sorry,
it's
sorry,
somewhere in
what?
between, Chris, because you cannot fuck with When Harry Met Sally. That is one of the best romantic comedies
love
of
it,
all
but
time.
again, it's a very smart rom-com.
No,
Yeah, it's
This-
not
But that
no,
can't.
this-
But
this-
that's
this-
but that's
this-
10,000 times
talking
better
about?
than this movie.
No, this movie goes in the same box as The King's
Cleverer
Speech.
than-
An utterly predictable British.
It's
like,
better than the King's Speech, which
Better
is
than
also an
Oh,
okay movie.
I agree.
no, I
I fucking
disagree,
hate the
man.
King's
I
Speech
disagree.
so much.
No,
Fuck
there were some
that
real
fucking
surprises
movie.
in King's Speech. There were no surprises at all in this film.
No, listen.
Some
listen.
nice reveals. There were some very
all,
nice reveals.
all the faults in this picture is not yelling, "Please give me an Oscar," whereas the King's Speech
Oh, it
totally is.
absolutely
the
I
entire
agree.
time.
Yeah,
Are
good
you
point, good
kidding
point.
me?
And every time they
This picture is not yelling, "Give me an Oscar." It's just saying, "I'm cutesy. Hopefully you like me."
It's saying
King's
I
Speech
love
is fucking
Shakespeare.
saying,
I love Romeo
Give
and
me an Oscar
Juliet.
every fucking corner I turn.
No, I'm an Elizabethan. This is Elizabethan chick flick, and love me. So buy tickets, man.
Yeah, it's saying
literally
Paltrow,
has-
man, go for it, man. She's check out that blonde hair. Buy tickets.
I will
That's
say,
fine.
I will
Nothing wrong with
say,
that.
I will say that I actually really liked Ben Affleck in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was great.
You know why he was there?
What
Yes,
is
I
the
do, 'cause he
role
was
and
dating-
what is
he
what
was
is the
dating
play and
Gwyneth
what is my
Paltrow.
part?
Yeah,
Oh,
he
was
was
he?
trying to keep an eye on Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, well, I can't imagine why you'd want to do that when Harvey Weinstein's fucking producing
probably-
your movie.
Right.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
shit. No,
But Mike, again,
Isn't there a story where Brad Pitt was like, mm-mm,
No, a number of people were
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
lay off, bro?
Yeah.
again, you guys, the cast. My God, I mean, Jeffrey Rush is so good in this.
Martin
He's
Clunes.
so good.
Martin
Ben
Clunes.
Affleck, Tom Wilkinson,
Tom
Wilkinson.
Wilkinson
Martin Clunes,
can
man,
do
he was
fucking
great.
anything.
Martin Clunes. Is that how you say
Martin
it?
Clunes, yeah, the guy from
Tom Wilkinson can do anything.
Watches his TV
Yeah, he
show
can
about
smash
the-
somebody in the head with a
I
skull.
watch his TV show.
No,
Imelda
he can also
Staunton.
be like when he's all paranoid about being the apothecary. That was so funny. He's like,
That was
Yeah,
great.
the
That
blue
was so
hat.
much
The blue hat.
and he's like rushing. Like, trust me, and Tad probably knows this. If you've been on stage with people who are like trying to rush you, you're like, motherfucker. And that scene was so funny because Shakespeare's like, I'm trying, but then you will die.
Was he doing it?
And he's like, okay, shit, fucking die. What do you
Was he doing that because he was? You think it was because he was nervous?
Yeah.
You think?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
he's like a non-actor getting a
Yeah, because he's like, I have a line. I better just throw it out there.
I thought
And
you did a
real
fine-
actors
I
are
thought
like,
you did a
okay,
fine
calm down,
job.
dude. Calm down.
I thought you
It's
did a fine
coming.
job. I thought you could.
I like
Yeah,
the
he
dude.
did.
I like the dude with it's like, what's the play about? And he's like, it's about a nurse.
Yes,
Yeah, that guy's
he
fucking
plays the
amazing.
nurse.
Carter from Downton Abbey.
That's a funny line.
Yeah, and then Rupert Everett is in there as
uncredited.
Uncredited because he didn't like his performance.
Right.
As Kip Marlowe, right? And
I thought he was fine.
I
Christopher
love the
Marlowe.
fact that
he was okay. He didn't bring much.
I like that.
Well, it's
Also,
not a very big part either.
No, the rivalry
No, but-
aspect, I like the because it was like there's the whole, like I said, rom-com center of the thing with Gwyneth Paltrow, but the rivalry between Marlowe and Shakespeare, I thought that was more interesting than almost
One
anything
thing
in the film.
that, like, I know
And the
this
way
is a
that
romantic
Marlowe was
comedy.
giving him like, you should change that and you should change that.
Yeah, he
That
gave him
I
like
thought was
dope ass
mature and
advice.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, he gave him like the best advice.
Yeah.
But one thing that also did bug me, just like obviously you can't get past this because this is the movie.
Mhm.
But has anyone ever seen a like a picture of William Shakespeare? I mean, a painting, a drawing.
Yeah, a couple.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, well, he doesn't look like Joseph Fiennes. Okay,
all.
like what
But,
the
but all this
fuck?
does is tell you that we're watching a chick flick. That's it.
You're right.
He is Mr. Open shirt bodice looking chick flick guy.
Also-
By the way, what the fuck
all-
happened to Joseph Fiennes? What was he in after this? It's
Yeah.
like,
Also, for the record, if I want to Fiennes, I prefer Rafe. I'm just saying.
They're both pretty
I'm sorry.
hot. Come
I'm
on.
sorry. No, it's Ralph. We're
No.
not doing this.
Or
one.
Ralph or
Oh,
whatever.
good one. All
there's
right.
an L in that, man.
I'm writing that down. Hold on.
Whatever, you American piece of shit.
All right. 820.
And,
recommend new name for
Enemy
Ray
at the
Fiennes.
Gates. Enemy at the Gates, which I like.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's very good in that.
Good
He's very good in
sniper
that. In the part where he
That movie's got the
sacrifices
best
himself.
sex scene maybe ever in a picture.
Mhm.
Then basically the sleeping bag.
Yes,
That was kind of fun.
between Rachel Weisz and
I wanted to fucking hate this movie way more than I do. I
I
really
yeah,
did.
no, I'm with
really
Chris on
wanted
this.
to
Like,
hate it.
I wanted to
I
hate
was
this
ready
movie
to
just like Tad hates it, but I'm like, I can't
I
deny
wanted to
that
hate
I
it the way
really
Tad
like
hates
it.
But I just can't.
I hate watched the entire thing last night.
I
Yang
literally,
man.
I wanted to do anything else other than
I got
that.
caught up in
Oh,
it
you
again.
groaned when I said the title last week.
Can I do my
Two
two
weeks,
X's
2 weeks
again?
I
ago.
think I started
I
cutting
totally
myself
got
during
caught
the
up.
movie. That's
I
like,
got caught up in it again, dude. I was almost in tears. I was like,
I mean,
I was totally like the
It's
audience.
lovely. I love it. It's good.
I think it's lovely too.
But
I think it
was
does a
it,
good
John? You
job.
loved it, but was it the best picture that year?
Oh,
No.
I don't know.
Original subject.
No.
I literally I was on the phone with my
It
mom
knows what it
earlier
is.
today, and she was like, "Oh, what are you doing
Yes.
for the podcast?" And I was like, "Shakespeare in Love." I don't know how I sat through that in the theater, and she said, "I don't know how I sat through that in the theater." Even my mom was just like, "No, fuck
Right.
this movie."
No,
So, yeah.
listen, was it the best picture of the year? Everything is
No!
subjective, but no,
No.
absolutely not.
Oh,
But is it a good movie in my
But
opinion?
Saving Private
Absolutely
Ryan
yes.
has all kinds of things you could critique about that as well. Thin Red Line.
Absolutely, which is why the best
Chris-
picture of that year was Elizabeth. Fuck
Chris
you.
already said,
No,
yeah,
I
maybe,
think Thin
maybe
Red
you're right.
Line is
Maybe
the
Elizabeth's the
best
best
picture
picture.
No.
Oh,
Of the nominees.
Elizabeth is
Maybe
the
Elizabeth's
number
the
two best picture. The number
But
one best picture.
do
is
I
Thin
want to
Red
watch
Line.
it again? No. Did I want to watch this again? Yeah.
Thin Red
and
Line
Private
is an
Ryan
acceptable
and
choice.
Thin
Thin
Red
Red-
Line the same year.
Thin Red Line touched my soul, man. And none,
Dude,
none
it-
of the film that
Thin
Thin
year.
Red Line is like watching visual poetry. It's just like
Oh,
But it is
but
about.
that movie,
and
but
that's-
that movie does not know what the fuck it
No.
is about.
Also,
Okay,
you know
so
what
this
else- you know
movie
what else came
does.
out?
So should it win Best Picture
Chris,
over it?
Chris, I'm rebutting that. That film knows exactly what it's talking about. It's talking about literally everything. It's about
You know
existence.
what
Yeah,
else? You know what else came out
That
this
sounds
year?
I
like
don't
a
think the
Private
Thin
Line.
Red Line
That's what
has
the
to know what
film's
it's about because it's about
No.
it's about the
That movie was
experience.
found in the
Yes.
editing room, and you guys know it.
Dude,
You know what else came out?
The
You know what
scene-
else
the
came
scene-
out
That's
this
how
year?
all of Malik's films are done, dude.
That-
That's why they're
well, that's
amazing.
what
That is a very
But-
different art form than what we're looking at talking about tonight.
no,
you know?
Those
this was a
films
very
are like
entertaining
watching
little
someone else
melodrama,
have a
and this
dream.
film was a melodrama. Come on.
Sure.
It's a
Yeah.
No,
joke.
it was a comedy
However,
or
it's a
musical.
rom-com.
It was a
Unlike-
comedy or
unlike How
musical
Green-
because that's what it won at the Golden Globes.
Yeah.
And you know what it beat at the Golden Globes? Another movie that's better than this, Bulworth.
Well, oh,
That's a
okay.
good movie.
Nah, I'm
Unlike How
Bulworth.
Green Was My Valley, the other film we were watching this week, this film I thought it has a melodrama, but it was controlled. It was about the main characters and their developments. It wasn't a bunch of this. And,
I did have I made a short list, by the way,
oh, it
about
actually
Will.
I thought it was superior to How Green Was My Valley in terms
Agreed.
of the story put together.
Agreed.
Okay, hold on.
I
thought
think it's
this
very
is before-
skillfully put together.
Before
Hold
we end the segment about this movie, though,
Take it, Jared.
I thought this was kind of funny though to think about Will Shakespeare's character in this movie.
Mhm.
He like on the obviously okay, the movie is the movie, but on the outset, he's kind of a fucking dickhead.
Yes.
A little bit. He's
Like,
like,
I
listen,
would say he's more
listen.
of an idiot.
he's a
No,
narcissist.
listen. He's married. He's been married twice. He's still married during this movie to his second wife. Okay.
Which if you go back to what this was supposed to be a gay subtext, that makes more sense.
Okay. But also he's got twins that he's a deadbeat dad to. He's left them.
Back in
So he's not a good, like this guy is still married to his second wife and he's left his children, which my dad, anyway, fuck you.
He didn't send money back home?
No.
It doesn't matter. He's not there, dude.
He also didn't really have
He's not being
either.
a dad.
There was no money to be had. So yeah, okay, do that.
Okay. And also also, when the picture opens up, he's sleeping with the woman who is married to the rival theater owner of the theater that he is. But also, I made a note.
Personal game,
but I made a note that so is everybody actually sleeping with him.
Right.
That's a good scene where he comes in, he starts yelling at him in the bed while they're having sex,
they're fucking,
and eventually he's just like,
but also
stop. Please.
Get off of me, yeah.
But this is a list, dude. He's also swindling, or he's playing the two theaters against them like each other. He's swindling.
He told them both they could have the play.
That's reasonable.
You know what?
And the one of the biggest things, which turned out not to be true, but he still did it, was he potentially put Kit Marlowe in fucking physical danger.
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for a while, he thought he was responsible for his death.
They were
yes. So, like, the moral, like, the end result is that he's kind of a fucking asshole, dude.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, it turns out if you're pretty, you can get away with a lot of shit.
I thought
male or female.
Another thing I pulled from this film that was interesting is the historical context of it. The Simon Cowell played like the director of the rebels. What it was, he was a guy from the crown in charge of like theater, basically, because this was after the war against Spain, and England won it, and they were awash with cash. They had tons of money, especially because after Henry VIII stripped all the Catholic churches out. So they called it Merry Old England back then for a reason, because everyone was they were throwing money everywhere, and so just have a good time for decades. That's how the English theater got to be big, is that the fact that they could
there was disposable cash.
It was like a nonstop party.
This whole movie starts out with like there's no money, everyone's fucking in debt.
But generally, the crown was able to pay for theaters, and was able to pay for people to go out and do stuff, and it was like a great time to be alive if you were a playwright. That's what Shakespeare thrived in.
Also, which theater became which theater became the Globe? Was it the Rose?
I think it was a new theater, wasn't it?
So what's weird is what's weird about this movie is the playhouse that they actually perform Romeo and Juliet in is not the Globe.
No,
it's the curtain.
The curtain, yeah.
And so the one that actually burned down in what year was that it burned to the ground, and then they remade it?
Yeah,
which was actually the Rose. Yeah, and then now it's the Globe.
Right.
Also, the director of this gave Judi Dench like half of this set.
That's not fun. Oh, that's that shoe guy, right?
Yeah.
Steve.
Yeah, Madden. Yeah, Steve Madden.
Yeah, that's a shoe guy, right?
John.
No, it's John Madden. But
I know. I was just making a joke. Sorry.
I like the joke, dude.
Thank you.
No, it's John Madden, the football guy.
Oh, the guy, the commentator.
Yeah, the commentator.
He was
By the way, Steve Madden's shoes fucking blow.
But by the way, if you could have John Madden telestrating over this through the whole thing, it would make it a lot better.
They've got a lot. It'd be fun.
Well, it looks like
and then the guy
circles and arrows.
Especially in this fight scene.
Yeah,
you're
pause
just
it and like
he's coming around the corner. And it's
why are there so many pillows? There's an awful lot of pillow fighting going on.
And then he goes under the stage, and he comes back out, and he goes down the trap door.
All right. I guess we're at thumbs at this point.
I give it a thumbs up.
I didn't like it that much, but I enjoyed watching it.
I expected a thumbs down from you.
Not really. No, it was. I don't think it's great art, but it was watchable.
This is not great art, but it's a fucking damn good movie.